This is the Six Figure Chick Podcast, episode 16, featuring Gemma Almilly, personal brand stylist. Hey, buckle up, queens. It's time for the Six Figure Chick Podcast, the one and only podcast made to teach Black women like you how to make a six-figure income. Whether you are a high-performing woman, professional, new business owner, author, speaker, or even a mom, you're sure to pick up golden nuggets of actionable advice when you listen to the Six Figure Chick Podcast. Each week, we will deliver hard-hitting, no-nonsense, keep it real topics about being a Black woman in America and the girl, hush your mouth we deal with. We're going to talk about this
and that,
and we're going to talk about everything else that has held us back. No more, queens. It's time to hear from real people
with real life
and real talk. So grab your best girlfriend and get ready for this ride. Hi, I'm Cherie Griffith-Dunn.
And I'm Nayoka Wright-Smith.
And this is the Six Figure Chick Podcast to help you win at work, in your business, at home, and succeed at life. This year of the Black woman is shaping out to be one powerful year. We are excited to bring enriched content about Black people, especially Black women, who are pioneers and trailblazers of this great country. Today, we will continue our conversation about all women coming together. As the saying goes, each one teach one, because each one needs to reach one. We want to thank all of our listeners. We truly appreciate your feedback and your 5-star rating on our podcast. We do this because we know how important it is to have a voice for all women, especially now. Nayoka?
Man, goodness, Cherie, I'm just so honored that we have a podcast like this where our listeners can, have a place to come and hear all the goodies, the juicy nuggets that we have on this podcast. That's why I'm just so glad that people like Gemma, choose to take the liberty and say yes to our invitation. So Gemma, we just want to say thank you so much for coming on to our podcast. Thank you for being here with us. We know you have some juicy nuggets, and our listeners are just going to be, just elated. They're just going to fall in love with what you have to teach them today. So thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
Nayoka, you bring up a good point. We're so fortunate to have amazing professionals come onto the podcast and really showcase their skill set. We forget how important it is to really have the opportunity to understand not only what someone does, but how they do it and why. Mm-hmm. And so, Gemma has been a digital marketer and graphic designer for over 10 years, working with local and national brands to craft and redefine the online customer experience. Now, as an entrepreneur, she has helped online experts rapidly craft their personal brand, identifying in a single day. She does a quick start approach. And you guys, let me be the first to say I am a client of Gemma's. And I am just intrigued with what it was that she was able to do with my personal brand, understanding my vision and where I want it to go. So if you all are listening who are thinking, I am dealing with so many people who say they do brands, they help you with your brand to get you where you want to go. But when I meet with them and they're finished, it's not what I had in mind. Listen, you want to have an opportunity to speak with Gemma, because this woman right here, She is not only an entrepreneur who helps online experts rapidly craft their personal brand identity in a single day for a quick start, but she gets you. Can you imagine speaking to someone who honestly understands you to help you take all the things that you put into place and then showcase them out to the world? That is something that is extremely difficult to do in most cases, right? And it's hard enough for us to explain it, but I'm telling you, she just has like these magic ears that listens to what it is that you're saying, how you're saying, and understands what it is you want to come across. And it's like magic, like psh, voila, she gets you. And it comes across flawlessly. So, this woman is a mom of two, right? As all of us have children, we have, we're moms, we're parents, we have it all going on. But, I think what differentiates Gemma is that, she really strives to balance family, her personal passions as an entrepreneur. And as a stay at home mom for a few years, she knew that she was ready for something more. How many of you can relate to that? That you're looking for something more this year. You know it's time, you're ready to take that plunge, but you just don't know how to do it. Well, she knows how to start successful advertising businesses because she quickly knew how to pivot and create this business that she felt truly aligned to do. And you can tell that she's aligned to do it because she does it flawlessly, as if it was effortlessly for her to do it. So I am just so honored to present to you all today Gemma, and I am going to mess up her last name, so I'm going to allow her to say it for herself. But
Wait,
welcome to the
wait
show.
a minute. Wait a
Thank
minute, Cherie. Wait a minute, Cherie.
yes,
Before we start our podcast, we had this discussion about names, okay?
yes,
We specifically said that this beautiful lady right here with us, she is a gem, okay?
okay, yes.
Oh, Cherie, you've been saying what? Gemma, Gemma, Gemma.
Oh,
It's Gemma.
please forgive me. It is Gemma, you guys, as if a gem. Pick one. Ruby, emerald, pick one. Amethyst, she's a gem. She truly is because she really helped me literally just take my brand to the next level. So, Gemma Almilly, welcome to the show.
Yes, yes. Thank you so, so much, Cherie, Naoka. This is already such a fun experience to be here with you today. I will tell you guys, this podcast is a vibe already. We chatted a little bit before we got started, and we're already having a blast. And when I work on a personal brand, I work out the vibe first. Cherie, when we work together, it was all about pulling out in our conversation the vibe. And so that turns into translating into, what does this actually look like? Colors, all of that in particular. But, I just kind of go with a vibe. And so I'm feeling this today, just being here with you too.
Thank you. And you guys, I want to tell you, what comes out of that vibe is, did you ever think that you had a signature? Like, I have a signature. Like, it's so amazing. So look for my new website, which will be coming out in the next 2 weeks. And you will get to see all of the amazing branding that Gemma helped me, yes, Gemma helped me with. And it went from not only the colors, right? So we talk about not only the colors, but it was the signature. And it went further into what is your style, right? And that is just so important because I knew that I had a style, but I didn't know how to articulate that or how to put that into print. And so, Gemma, can you talk a little bit about how did you do that? Like, how did you come up with the process to get people to tell you what what it is that they want and how you interpreted that into creating a brand?
Yes. Yes, for sure. I do personal brands. So that came up from as I had started an advertising business. I was, working in that, not quite feeling aligned in that, but through the act of just building this business, I was surrounded by other, especially female entrepreneurs. So we were all in the same boat, starting to launch our business. And many of them were working on, okay, I'm putting together a website. I know I need something. I'm not sure. I don't know how to do a logo. Let me jump into some online tools and see what I can create. And, for one, they would be spending a good amount of time kind of mulling over what am I going to do? And especially in the DIY mode of starting sometimes your first business and just getting out there when I already had a graphic design background, but I came into this from a few years of stay-at-home mom, thinking I'm going to start this advertising business, and I'll just use a little bit of my design skills. But pretty soon, I was jumping onto Zoom calls with these other fellow entrepreneurs and saying, "Let me just help you out with your logo. You know what? Just take this piece off, do that," and just trying to help them move forward because that I really was. My heart went out to them when they would be spending sometimes weeks on just establishing a simple logo. Like you just got to have a few essential pieces to this like brand kit. Don't overthink it. Let's just do something really quickly. And so I started just having conversations. That's my favorite way to just connect and to serve others is just to get in conversation. If I when I worked in corporate world as a graphic designer, I would get maybe some input to begin with a kickoff, and then I have to go back to my desk and just sit down maybe a week later and try to come up with something. And that disconnect was really difficult for me. So I just found through feeling that I knew that I could get on a call with someone and that we would make some kind of progress. So I said, let's just get on a Zoom call right now. You got time right now? We'd be messaging on, say, Facebook or Instagram Messenger, DM, say, let's get on a Zoom call. I know I can help you out with that. And that felt so great. I would get on that call, we'd have a conversation, and we'd make progress. And they'd say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe what I got done in 10 minutes with you that I've been trying to do for a week." So that was an incredible feeling. And as I looked at, what are the pieces that somebody needs just getting online, I said, you don't need to be able to print your logo on the sign on a side of a building, right? You're not going to put this on a fleet of vehicles. Like, let's keep it really simple. So, just listening to the needs of my fellow entrepreneurs, that started turning into what would a brand kit be? What's the essential elements? What does that need to be? And the conversation evolved, from just getting through maybe a logo or some colors to I love working on personal brands. I want to know about you. I'm very interested in you, right? So I just want to hear, gosh, what music do you like to listen to? Like, what is your thing that brings your personality to how you want to show up online? So that kind of developed into this little questionnaire that really sparks our discussion, and that's what we did, Cherie. Right? Just going back and forth and starting to talk about, what are goals, of course. Where's your business going? What's happening next? What's your online presence look like? And then we just dive into some fun stuff. What's your go-to drink? What's your dream vacation? And those kind of questions really sparked. They end up sparking visual imagery that becomes this vision board of the brand. So it has been so fun, and that conversation is such a blast because it is very different for me. It is very fun for me to have that conversation and that back and forth, that immediate feedback versus going weeks and weeks. If you've ever worked with a designer or a branding uh, professional, oftentimes a design project can go for several weeks, and to me that's even harder for me as the designer, not even to mention as the client, kind of waiting for that feedback and moving along at that pace. But I have much more fun just being right in that conversation and getting the inspiration, live together and getting it done.
I love that. And one of the things that I want, in my mind, I was like, How do you take the music that I'm interested in, the quotes that I enjoy, how do you take that and really create that brand? Like that is just for me that was just so phenomenal. I know so many people are wondering, how do I create that ultimate brand? Like what is the process of understanding, how do I translate who I am onto print and then into content and then into imagery? You're
Yeah.
so good at that.
This is a different approach, and I really just found what felt good to me as a designer to be able to do. I don't use traditional methods like color psychology or other kind of maybe design rules that are out there. It it's too disconnected for me from the actual personality of this personal brand. So through the conversation about what lights you up, I really take those sparks of inspiration and directly use those as imagery searches. So when we're talking about musicians or we're talking about dream vacation destinations, those are pictures that will come up in a search. It'll actually use to put together in a vision board. So then I pull colors, right from that imagery. And so I don't know what direction the color scheme is going to go in until we start having that conversation. So it's very organic. It's very intuitive, actually. And I think that's what my clients are enjoying the most is that they're watching it come together before their eyes, and it's also coming together for me. I don't know where it's going to go, and it's super exciting to see what comes out. And yet in all the single day branding projects I've done, especially this year, uh, it's been amazing. The clients have been super happy. We've been excited about what comes up, and we can make little course corrections and changes together on the fly. And by the time we get through 90 minutes, a couple hours together on the Zoom call, and we both feel excited about where it's going, then I'm able to create the rest of the brand kit from that vision.
That is fantastic. So, what is the first question or answer or like how to that you would tell someone who's listening who says, "Oh my God, like I don't even have a website," or "My website is awful." Like, how do I get started? What are some of the things that I should start to write down or identify as a person or a candidate to kind of meet with you?
For them to get started, I mean, when I'm starting to talk to a potential client and getting to know them, I'm wanting to know what are their goals online? Like, why are you showing up online? That's where you start. Just kind of sit back and be like, you know what? All this talk about what platform I'm on, how my website looks, like, take a step back and just think about why are you online? And because I create brand kits to bring some cohesiveness to a personal brands of entrepreneurs online presence. So I'm thinking, okay, what are the main platforms they're on? Okay, maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's traffic's coming to the website. So there's different pieces that you're going to need for those different areas, but it comes down to why are you there in the first place? Are you driving traffic to certain offers? Are you wanting to just build up your persona and become known for something, because you're going to be associated with something no matter what. So the opportunity in personal branding is that you're going to curate that. You're going to have a say in how you want to show up online. So that really is the opportunity of personal branding, because there are going to be associations made with you, but you're showing up for a reason. You have some expertise or some experience that you can serve others with. So I help you do that by giving you, a way, this visual way to identify yourself. And so the others can connect with, okay, I come to Cherie for this, I come to so and so for that, and I know that's what I'm going to get when I see them, and I can associate them with this color or this look. So I always know when I meet them across their online presence, I know I'm getting the same person and I know what they're about. So really I think the beginning is to ask yourself why you're showing up online, what your goals are here. Is it to enhance something that you're doing offline, or is it really that you're building yourself up as a persona that is known for something that allows you to serve others?
I think that one of the things that came to mind when you said, when you show up with the same brand colors and the same, you know, the way that you're showing up, people know that that's you. They recognize you. So I wonder how many people are going out there where all of their platforms look different. All
Yeah.
of their colors are different. All of their fonts are different. And they're not even really understanding that it's driving a different message every single time. And so coming together to create one cohesive message is massive for their brand and for the success of their company, which is huge, right? So I
Yeah.
always think about that person who's been in business, right? Been in business 3 to 5 years, and they're like, whoa, they're seeing things differently, they're thinking differently, and they're afraid to kind of go to that next step with their branding. So, what would you tell someone who created a logo, oh my gosh, years ago, right? They started off with their company, but now they see that their vision is changing, information is changing, and the way they want to present themselves has definitely changed. What would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, I think this is the journey that we all go on. When I first launched my advertising business, I started really quickly. I did like a one-page website, really quick logo, and I knew as I was pivoting direction, as I was growing, and it was rapid too. It's like I'm coming online, I'm working with clients, and I'm learning every day a little bit more about how I wanted to show up, and it is continuing to evolve. And so a lot of us get into this position where we did maybe an Instagram post one day and you're like, oh, I really like how that one turned out. So maybe you use those colors again a few times and you're like, okay, but you did something completely different over on Twitter, last year, or you have these different pieces. So I feel like we all go through this and there's no shame in that game. Like we are DIYing, we are getting started. And so there's nothing wrong with that because it's all part of learning about what feels right and what's working. So a personal brand, any brand is going to continue to evolve. That's why I do like taking this kind of quick start approach that I call it. Like let's get some essentials, let's get you organized, let's get some pieces together, and let's keep moving because you're gonna keep evolving and keep changing. So if you're in that position where you've got some stuff that might be a little bit hot mess, you're a little bit all over the place, that's okay. And so there's no maybe best time to start, or because we're all going to be in that kind of hot mess spot at some point. And so it's just a matter of working with somebody that can help you bring that all together and find a strong pull toward a strong direction and say, okay, this is what I'm going to go with for a while so I can start getting everything together. And what's so nice about that, being digital and being online, you can switch it up. You can change your LinkedIn banner whenever you want to, right? So you're not locked in. And even the branding that, we've done together, Cherie, that it's going to continue to evolve. But you have a baseline now. Now you have, okay, I've got these colors, I've got these ingredients, and now I can make different, we've talked about this too, that it's kind of like having this wardrobe, having this capsule wardrobe that is simplified so that when you open your closet, you're going in and you're grabbing your favorite pieces, and this jacket goes with these pants. Like you because you've already had some forethought there and you've got your favorite stuff. So when you have a brand kit, it's going to save you time. It's going to save you time. You're not going to be all over the place with what did I do over on LinkedIn? What did I do over on my website? So when you feel like a hot mess, like I want to help you feel like this sigh of relief that, okay, now I've got my stuff together and I don't have to be thinking what's over here, what's over there. I'm just organized and it's not that you're going to have this look for the next 10 years. Probably not. That's okay. That is totally okay. Give yourself a baseline that allows you to show up in a cohesive way so that yeah, you're people know that they're coming to you and finding you in these different platforms that you're on, and you're showing up in a similar way with some consistency, and then you can continue to evolve that from there. So we all go through a bit of a hot mess here and there, but there's no time that is not okay to start just getting organized and getting everything to be more cohesive. And I'm not all about having everything super matchy and super perfect. We want to show up as people. These are personal brands. So if one Instagram post looks a little different than the other one, one's a really casual photo, one's a really nice branded one, that's great. That's fine. Right?
Mhm.
So it's all just about like your personality coming through. And that's I think what's missing sometimes in branding and when you're looking to hire that person, just like you said, Sheree, it's very personal to me, and I want your personality to come through and shine because then you're going to be more excited to show up. And that's going to come through in who you meet online and whether they want to do business with you or not.
Right.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Gemma. And when I think about it, I think about that person who needed to have that permission to say, oh my gosh, I could change my logo. I can change my colors. I could change the way that I'm showing up in my, different images that I'm sending out and my print. I mean, that's huge because so many of us business owners, we get stuck and we think that we have to continue the way that we started. So thank you for giving us permission to understand that we need to continue to ever evolve as we begin to change things. So should our colors, our logo, and you know, our print, our content that we're showing. And I'm happy for those who are very consistent and don't have to change. But I also question them and say, are you really delivering for your clients if you're remaining the same?
Yeah,
Because
and
we're ever evolving, right?
it's another difference between being, say a restaurant chain versus a personal brand. You do expect to drive from city to city and you need to see that consistent logo, right? 'Cause we're talking about a business storefront, right? And so, but when you're a personality, we want human to human connection, right? So if you change your profile image, that really is going to be okay. People are going to be able to link to you and still find you, but it is only natural that you change once in a while, that it's springtime now. Maybe you changed your hair. Awesome. It's great because then your audience is getting to know you better. If you've had that same image for a couple years, it's just not, you're going to have new people connecting with you, but it's special to get to know someone and watch them change and enjoy life and just, change it up as people do. This is human to human connection. This is personal branding. So it really should be personal.
Right. Because if the
Absolutely.
branding isn't working, if your branding strategy isn't working, you should definitely opt to changing it, right?
Right, exactly.
So that's good. That is really good because I was like, what would you use? As the latest tools and trends, and you're giving some really good nuggets as to what people need to do when it comes to branding themselves. If it's not working, give yourself permission to change it, right?
Yes. And permission to just keep evolving, keep growing, because you're going to be hearing from your audience what works for them. And being a personal brand and actually reacting to your audience, that is authentic. That's authentic. To actually listen to your audience and react, respond, and create, offers that are working for their needs. Like that is what it's about.
Yeah, that's so good. I often think about when you talk about branding, it's such a big story, because you're not only just branding what your customers are seeing about you, but you're branding what you're telling your customers
Hmm.
about you. And so that has to match. And I know that that is like a burning question in terms of how do I match what it is that I want to say to what I want to show so that I can have a nice marriage in terms of what people see when they come to my website. They know, oh my gosh, this woman is a speaker. Like this woman does, has done books, and this woman is a business coach. Like, how do you what are some suggestions that you can tell people who maybe don't have a budget? How can they create that atmosphere for people coming through their content?
Yeah, there are brand strategists that would maybe work one on one for a while to really nail down the whole like vision of who are you serving and why and all of that. And when I come in and work on the visual identity piece, I just do a light version of that, because that goes into your whole business mission, your marketing strategy, even. So I do a light uh, part of that, in that I want to make sure at least that you have this statement down of who are you, who do you serve, and then how do you do it, right? So that's got to be consistent. So if that's unclear from the get-go and it hasn't even been established in the background, how is it going to come through in the foreground? Right? So that is foundational. And that's always foundational of not just I have this skill set, or I'm a speaker, so I speak about the things I want to speak about. Like you've got, a mission and a purpose, and what you are sharing, whether it be speaking or courses or whatever your offer may be, you have this that's going to provide a solution for someone, and they're struggling with something, and you're able to take them through some sort of transformation. So that is foundational to know and be clear on, who are you serving them, and why should they care that you're here to serve them, and how do you do it? How do you do it your way? What makes you special, and what is your approach, your take on this that is unique to you? So that is first most foundational. And so if that's clear, then you're going to be able to keep looking back at that. And maybe it's something that you have written out and you've got it on your wall, wherever it is. Make sure that it's always, at arm's length, and that you can be checking against that whenever you're putting something out there, that it's in alignment, with that. And it doesn't have to be that, every offer is the same kind of offer. It's like, but does it come down to the same type of way that you solve problems and provide transformation for your audience? So these are all, the foundational pieces. And when it comes to figuring out how to bring that consistency across the brand, I think that's what the visual identity helps do, because you've said, I am this and I bring this to the table, and I'm going to identify myself with this kind of a vibe, this kind of a look that represents me and my personality and my mission. And then just using the visual design pieces as ingredients to kind of sprinkle that throughout what you're doing. And so that you're not doing completely different stuff, with your course materials, with your website, and being all over the place. So it all kind of comes together from that foundation, and then adding in and kind of sprinkling in that visual identity to bring it all together.
That is absolutely wonderful. I can't express how ecstatic I am to have been able to have a conversation with you, and then you immediately take that and turn it into my brand. I was just floored. I'm like, how did you get me? You understood where I was coming from, what I wanted to deliver, and what I wanted my customers to take away. I mean, that for me is just phenomenal. So, what would you say to someone who's on the fence of saying, I need to have a rebrand, but I just don't know how to get started. What do you do?
Well, they can give me a call. I love to chat. So what I
So
mean,
so on that note, then where can they
yeah. Well,
find you?
what I mean,
How can they find you? And
yeah, what I mean is to have some conversations too, because if you are you want to sit down with someone that you feel good with, someone that you just have that connection to, and you feel like, I think this person might actually get me. And something to look for, I would say, and I just have been thinking about this in our conversation, is that in my design career, I remember reading something about how being a creative professional or being a designer, you need to have a diverse background and diverse interests. And so I haven't really intentionally cultivated that, but it is part of who I am. I will watch, I love any documentary. I love watching movies, reading books. And, I'm have experience now in different facets of my life, and with different relationships with people in my world, that has given me a really broad perspective and range. So when Cherie's talking to me about different bands that she likes, different music, I am often able to connect. And then I did branding the other day for a science fiction author, and we had a wonderful time talking about the whole world of science fiction and fantasy that she writes for. And so there is something to, getting to know this person that you want to work with a little bit, and knowing that they'll have the ability to connect with you and not only do what you tell them to do, right? But take what your vision is and who you are, and then take that and translate it based on all of, the like what I do, just the experience that I have, the background that I have. I kind of take all of that and mesh it all together to then come out with this design. So yeah, if you're not sure where to get started, talk to a couple people and you start to get a feeling. I really come back to the gut feeling for intuition and deciding who to work with in your business too. And I know you do that too, Cherie, of you're partnering with various people. You're investing, right? So you want to have a good feeling. And I am using my intuitive gut feelings, to create these design looks too. So we got to start trusting our gut. Like we got to remember to trust ourselves and give yourself a chance to get to know someone a little bit. Like that's why I have these connection calls available that anyone at any time can, jump on my calendar, book a 30-minute free connection call. And because I just love connecting to others, genuinely, I would love to hear about your business, what's coming up next. If you have questions about, what's in a brand kit, what would a brand kit look like for me? I'm doing courses. What do I need? I'm doing, speaking. What should I have in my brand kit? Like, great. That's what I can, help you put together on a connection call and say, this is the right kind of recipe for you going forward. This is what you can look for. And do some different calls like that with different people and see what kind of vibe you get, kind of feeling you get from them, and trust your intuition. And I just happen to just use a very intuitive process in how I work, and I found that it works for me because as a creative professional, it's just hard to be, I'll say it's hard to be creative on command. And that's for sure what I learned, being an employee and working at design agencies, that it's difficult for a creative person to sit down at a desk and just say, okay, at 3 p.m. today I'm going to design that logo. Yeah, and that's how we work in the corporate world, but it's not always how the creative brain is ready to work. So I happen to have the opportunity to start my own business and feel it out and feel what was in alignment for me and what could work and what would allow me to express myself creatively and connect with people, which I love, love, love to do. So just through trusting my gut, my intuition, and leaning toward what felt good to me and that wasn't kind of heavy and stressful in that corporate environment, which was difficult for me, I leaned into what felt natural, hopping on those Zoom calls with entrepreneurs. It just came right back to that of, I know I can help you with something. So let's just hop on a Zoom call. Let's figure it out. So again, I feel like it really comes back to intuition. And I think you can speak to that too, Cherie, of just like how you like to connect with who you choose to work with.
Yeah, Gemma, this is just so juicy, right? When people are in the space of saying, I know I need to go to the next level, and I know what's holding me back. I know that my visual appearance and the messaging that I'm sending out is not equating with what I'm doing. And how do I bridge that gap? It's branding, right? It's take talking to someone who understands the ins and outs of branding so that it can help you connect with your ideal client. It really works. I mean, it's just so simple and so easy, but it's really true. It just really works. And so, Gemma, let's talk about diversity, right? Because you were able to truly captivate an urban look for me. And that's what I wanted, right? I wanted more of that urban professional woman. And you got it, like right off the bit. So do you attribute that to the fact that you are, you come into this space with an open mind and just really, interested in learning more about them? Or what's your secret sauce? What is it that that you do that helps you create that space?
Yeah, the diversity. I would say just having that broad range of interests, and also that I came up with that questionnaire that I knew would spark direction for us. And instead of basing that questionnaire solely on we talk a little bit about what do you want your ideal client to feel working with you. We talk about a little bit of that, but I love digging into the personality aspects, like that go-to drink, that dream vacation, that song that you listen to when you want to get up and boogie, that song that you listen to when you want to sit by the fireplace with a good book. These are because they're things that I connect to. All of us have that range of, movies and music and just media that we just experience over our life. So that was the natural direction for me to know that, hey, if you tell me about a song or you tell me about a movie, I'm probably gonna be able to start painting a picture in my mind of that vibe. So if I just go on trends, like design trends and what seems to be working or what seems to be popular, it's kind of, I feel like that's such a guessing game of, oh, everyone's using these colors right now. No one's using that, so let's avoid that color. That just does not work for me. That is too impersonal and it's too much of a guessing game of like, I think that these greens might, I think my client might like these colors. No, when we start talking about things that everybody can relate on, stories, movies, music, that works for me. So I just came up with a process that works for me. So that's what I do. And I think that is what helps uncover, all these different possibilities. Who knew, Cherie, that we would be working on your vision board and we'd be talking about Bruno Mars and we'd be talking about spirit animals. We're looking at pictures of leopards and we're talking more about music. And at the end, the end of our conversation, we're getting into visuals. You're like, oh, and I love Mary J. Blige. And we're like, yes. Hello, I'm a music lover. You tell me about different music artists, and I have a broad range of music that I am interested in and that I have loved over the years. So yeah, I connected to that right away. And that led into some visuals that really gave us the vibe that you were going for. So it came out of that conversation again of just what types of subjects that I connect to. So I know that if I can connect with you about music, that we're going to have a good conversation. I just know. So that's what works for me. I don't use trends. I don't stick to, what those latest, fonts are that everybody may be using. I just look to see what is going to connect with you and your personality, because it is going to affect how you show up. And, I can add that you can kind of think of it like doing a job interview and thinking about what you're going to wear to that job interview. And you're thinking, okay, I want to look my best, but is it the outfit that got you the job? Not necessarily, but is it the outfit that made you feel like you were really feeling yourself that day and gave you the confidence to feel more relaxed and more just into your power when you were at that interview, that they connected with you and they remembered, oh yeah, that girl, I remember her because she came in and she owned it. And you can do that with your personal brand. That's exactly what you are doing with your personal brand. So if you want to connect to your audience, like, put on the outfit that makes you feel good, that is you to a T and lights you up, and watch what happens.
Mm. Oh my goodness, Gemma,
Yes.
I am just totally in love with you. Oh my goodness. I am jealous that you have worked in Cherie's. Hello, and hello, Naoka needs to get herself up to speed. Okay, I know right now a lot of people are just loving you because I love your approach. I love the way that you draw people into what you do, into your space, right? And then you just totally explode, bringing them to light. You know, by asking them the questions, their, what they like, their music, their, just being personal with them. And I totally love that approach. Girl, you're on fire.
Yeah, and I want to add that, Cherie, I have been calling myself a brand stylist, and that is on my bio right now. You'll see it. And part of that came out of our discussion too, because we started talking about your brand photo shoot and having those portraits done, and that's a wonderful thing to do for your personal brand, right? And so we started talking about, what you might be wearing. I mean, it's all part of your vibe, right? So it was a natural part of our discussion to talk about that aspect. And at some point, I want to, bolt on to my service that photo package as well, especially for, say, my local clients, and I can connect with photographers. But that was a natural part of the progression of our discussion as well. And I had told you that, at one point in my career, I thought maybe I'd be a personal stylist or a fashion stylist. I've always been interested in fashion, and we had a wonderful time chatting about that aspect of it. And you said, "You know what? You are styling me. Like, you are a stylist right now." And I was like, "You know what? I think I am." And it was so fun to just talk about. And so now I call myself a brand stylist. And I like that because and to help the audience too, you guys, there are a lot of people, if you're starting to look for branding professionals, you'll find a lot of brand strategists, and there's important work to be done to talk about your entire vision, who you're connecting with, is this the niche for you, all of that, and your whole vision. So you can work with a brand strategist on that aspect as well, and it's really wonderful work. And me knowing my lane and knowing what lights me up and what I like to do, I love the visual design. So I'm a brand stylist. So when you find me, I'm going to do that visual identity for you.
That is so hot. I love it. Oh my gosh, Gemma. That is so amazing. Yeah. So, for me, so let's talk about, what it does for the customer, right? When you are able to connect with someone who can help you create your brand, on the other side of that is, success, because you feel confident, you're excited, you're just like, this is amazing. You're happy with what you have. Every time you look at it, you're like, oh my God, this is so me. This is like amazing. Like, these look so good. And you're happy about it. And that for me is exactly what I wanted to achieve. And you quantum leaped that for me. So I thank you so much for doing that specifically for me. And so, tell our audience. So, how can they reach you on Instagram? And how can they get in touch with you to connect with you?
Yeah, I am Gemma Almilli on Instagram, and you can connect with me
Spell
there.
Almilly. It's AL,
ALM.
right? ILLI. So GEMA, and the last name is ALMILLI. Okay.
So
At Instagram.
you'll find me on Instagram, and there you'll find some sample projects, and you can connect with me. And then the link in my bio will have a link to my calendar. So it's a wonderful way to get the conversation started. Is just go ahead and book a call. But anyone's welcome to send me a private message, and any questions that you might have, anything you'd like me to send over, I'm happy to. And I'm happy just to connect with you and learn about your business and what's coming up for you, what you're uh, coming up against, even, when looking at what is the next best investment for me in my business. Is it time to do the branding? What would I gain out of that? What's next for me? What do you suggest? So I'm happy to connect, and Instagram is going to be a great place to get started with me.
Yeah, like what you said, is this the right time for me to talk about my brand? Right? I mean, because sometimes we put the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse, however you want to look at that. But we don't always need to do our brand right away. We need to get out there and start working so that we're able to see the brand that we need to achieve. So let me ask you this. When someone who is new, who is really thinking about rebranding themselves, and they know there's a few things that they need to get done, um, so can you talk to them a little bit about, the process? I want them to understand how easy it is. Like, it truly is just, you streamline this process like there's no tomorrow. It is so simple, and it's great for business owners who are busy and don't really think that they have the time to kind of go through this. You streamline this so well that it allowed me, even myself, just to kind of go through it. And I was like, wow, I'm done. This is crazy. Like, Holy cow, my whole brand was done, you guys, like within what, 48 hours. I'm like, this is just crazy. And when I tell you it was top notch, it was so professional. I kept going back to her, like, are you sure? You know, right? Is this it? Like, this is, I'm good, right? I don't know you anything else, right? But I love the fact that you made the time between us as I was helping you understand me. You allowed that time to just evolve. Like, you didn't rush that time, you know. So I want people to understand that, you know, when they go do a discovery call with you, like that discovery call is like meatful. It is juicy. It is impactful. Like, she is pulling out things you never even thought about in your brand. I mean, I was like, when she was like, who are your favorite artists? Or I'm like, I don't even think about that. Like, what are you talking about? And then here in my head, my analytical brain, I'm like, why does she need this information? Right? Next thing you know, she comes out with this amazing brand packet. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how did you do that? Like, it's just so phenomenal. So tell, can you talk about how you streamline the process for someone to kind of connect with you so that they can understand that it doesn't take a lot of time? You know, it's so simple.
Yeah, I want to add a couple things to that. And first of all, with even addressing that question of like, what is this the right time? With my kind of quick start approach of let's get something together for you, like let's get the hot mess into something really nice and cohesive. That approach can work for someone who is really established, maybe has been in business for a while and they have an offer, maybe they've got something launching soon or they're working on their next thing and kind of know their niche and know what they're doing so they can have that pulled together for them. But I've also worked with entrepreneurs that are still forming and feeling out what their next offer is going to be. And I say, wonderful time for you to do your branding, because this is not just based on your offer. This is based on you and your personality and how you want to show up. So I did a brand kit recently for a woman who is a coach, and she's looking to inspire older women to really just live in their power. And she knows that she's forming an offer around this, but she also knew that, hey, if I feel good about how I'm showing up online, everything's going to start opening up. And this is true. This is what we just said, is just energetically, if you're feeling good about this and it's easier for you to create content because you've got some templates, you've got some colors, you've got some fonts. So it's going to open up how you show up. And then it allows you to make connections that now she's hearing from her audience. Hey, this is what I struggle with. This is what I need next. So even though her offer was not put together yet, she's like, I'm still kind of in discovery phase right now. She's discovering herself. And you and I know, we know this from our business coaches. When you get visible to yourself, you get more visible to your audience. And this is what it is about. So whether you're just starting out and trying to kind of form who you are and how you want to show up, a branding exercise is fantastic for you. And then if you're more established and you're like, I want to get organized and make sure that this is a reflection of really my offer and where I'm at right now, fantastic. Great for you. I can do that for you as well. Now, what it looks like is this brand kit that I put together is really just to cover this core vibe of this vision board, a simple logo, usually based on your name and your color, palette, and a pack of social graphics. So let's say it's a Facebook header, maybe a Twitter graphic, a LinkedIn banner. That's what all comes together in a single day session with me. And what that is like is a morning Zoom call where we talk through. I'll give you a questionnaire beforehand, so you get some of those questions about what is the music that you like to listen to, what's your dream vacation spot, and what are some words that you like to associate with your brand and how you show up. So you'll work on that little bit of pre-work before, and then that will be our catalyst in our discussion in our morning session. We'll do that morning session, and yep, just like you said, Sheree, we let it flow. We let the conversation flow. We give ourselves some time to just have fun with it and talk about music, talk about, whatever we want to. And then what I start to do is move into pulling imagery out of that discussion as we talk. So that's what we were doing. I mean, Cherie, we were Googling Bruno Mars. We were looking, We had such a blast doing that. And so as we get farther along in that morning session, you start to see a vision board come together. And soon you start to see the colors come together. And we work a little bit with fonts and start to get a logo coming together. And then we get to break, and it's a wonderful opportunity for you to, as these gears have really started turning in the morning, that maybe you're working on your brand statement a little bit, maybe you're coming up with some ideas for your next social posts. It's a great time to use that mental energy and direct it towards something, or just do what you got to do for the day. Well, I am going in and starting to create those social graphics and some different pieces based off of the vibe that has been established in the morning. And I'll continue. I will send screenshots and say, hey, how's this looking? Is this kind of on the right track? Are we feeling good about this still? And then we regroup in the afternoon for just a quick call to, I can show you, here's how everything is coming together. And I do this work in a tool called Canva, which is what a lot of online professionals are using every day to create their social media content and create their designs. And since that's where we all are working, that's where I create these assets. Instead of having to contact someone to go in Photoshop and go get them later, do other things. No, I build everything in Canva, I get everything organized, and then I export all the files. So you end up with this suite of graphic elements and a file collection ready to go, ready to save on Google Drive wherever you need it, ready to send to your VA, ready to send to your web designer, ready to go. So by the end of the day, you've got a lot of those pieces, and then I will spend some time after our session in the subsequent days for a few days to pull together more social media templates, maybe a few more pieces, and really wrap it up. But the core of that happening in that single day is establishing you, like your vibe, your brand. It all really comes together in that session, and it's so much fun. I'm enjoying it so much. My clients have just been having a blast, and that's what it actually kind of looks like to work with me.
I think that is absolutely fantastic, you guys. I had the opportunity to work for her. I was blown away. I'm still blown away by her greatness and amazement of her passion to really help small business owners and entrepreneurs who are starting out and or who's been in business for a while really take their brand to the next level. And she does that without distraction, without taking too much time, without it being a job that you don't want to go into. She makes it so easy, it's seamless as possible, and you end up with this phenomenal event of graphics and signatures and colors and imagery that your whole team can sign on to. That was the point that took me to the next level, was something that I could share with my whole team. Now I don't have to talk about what I need done, how it needs to look. Here is the product that you have to look at. Here is the basis of what you're the foundation and the basis of what you're going to go buy. And it just came out phenomenal. It's just been just an amazing experience. So
Yeah. And quickly I saw a need to make sure that not only that you have these assets designed and ready to use for your business, but that they're organized and they're accessible so you can share them with your team and get them out of whatever tool it is. You don't want things stuck in Photoshop. You don't want things just sitting in Canva. I've seen various maybe DIY design branding offers that you may see advertised. I've seen different types of branding offers where these beautiful pieces will be created, but they're kind of stuck in the tool. And people are asking, well, how do I get that logo on my website? How do I get this piece over here onto my my workbooks and all of this? So that's why I really did want to take my offer to the next level and make sure that these pieces are exported and like ready to go, ready to drop into your website homepage. Like you've got to get these pieces out there because one, I want to see them in the world, right? I'm excited. We're both excited about how this brand is looking. And the whole point is to get it out there across your social media presence, your online presence. So that really is key to me to offer that as part of the package.
yeah, that's beautiful, right? Because they're getting more than they bargained for from working with you, and they're really at the end of this going to soar in their business because they don't have to worry about what does their image look like, what does it project. You already know it's done. It's there for your team to follow, to get out there, to update your websites, and to get all of that in sync from your Twitter to your Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, it's all going to be in sync. One imagery, one process. That's what Gemma gives you. It's super easy, you guys. So, Gemma, can you please tell everyone how can they reach you again?
Yes, so just Gemma Almilly on Instagram is the best place to reach me. Now, they can also find GemmaAlmilly.com. There's a link on Instagram, so if you find us there, you'll find that link in my bio for the website as well. But if you go to GemmaAlmilly.com, you'll see some details about that single day package, and you'll see some project examples there as well. And again, anyone can send me a private message or even book a call on my calendar. I would love to talk to you.
Yeah, you guys, take her up on her offer. You need this, even if it's for a checkup. And that's the other piece I want to leave you guys with is the fact that she does also offer a checkup so that she can make sure that your website and your vision is working in the process and the plan that you guys had designed. Because sometimes, we go sideways, right? Let's be true. We're business owners, and that's just what happens. So here you have it. Gemma gave you all of her juicy nuggets on how to get started. 1, 2, 3, what's involved in taking your brand to the next level, the process that she has created that is unique to her. You will not find this anywhere else in the industry. For you to be able to have a comprehensive evaluation of what it is that you love, you enjoy, the colors that you like, and what it is that you need to get out into print, into vision, into color, into signature to your clients. She's the one to do it, and she's created that process for you to do it. So thank you so very much for being with us today, Gemma. I truly appreciate you gracing the stage with us and sharing your golden nuggets to each and every person who's listening, because I know that they know that they are truly looking forward to having their rebranding done. And I want to make sure everyone knows, look for mine in the next 2 weeks so that you can actually see the rebranding that I did. And I'm going to do a comparison from where I am now to where I'm going with the vision that Gemma and I was able to put together, so that you can actually see that having a brand stylist, your stylist expert available for you can really take your business to the next level. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Bye for now. This has been another episode of the Six Figure Chick podcast. Please be sure to join us next time for some more hard-hitting career and business advice. To stay connected, follow me on Instagram at Cherie Griffith Dunn. And if you would like to be a part of the baddest club around, join High Performing Women Academy, the place where you belong. Go to hpwacademy.com. And as always, if you like what you hear, come back, and next time, bring a friend. If you're interested in sponsoring, donating, or even advertising your business with me, please contact me at connect@CherieGriffithDunn.com.